¿Qué onda? Thanks for watching Doing Life with Jenny. I just spent 3 weeks in Mexico, and usually I download Tinder while I'm traveling to be able to make new friends. Sometimes they're just like friend dates, sometimes they're actual dates. Today I'm telling you all about my actual date with, we'll call him Sebastian. So Sebastian is one of few men that actually seemed worth meeting from Tinder, because you can swipe and maybe find some matches, but it's even harder to find someone you want to meet. But we were hitting it off quite well, texting back and forth. It was a little hard for us to find a day and time that worked for both of us to meet up, because of course I was like on a trip. I had all day every day and he had to work, but we finally found a day that worked for both of us. So we were going to meet in the evening after I met up with another friend, but we were both kind of anxious to meet each other, so we're like, hey, how about you just come along and do my errands with me before I go see my friend, and then I'll see you again in the evening. So he helped me go to the bank and drop off my laundry, and we hit it off quite well. We had a little bit of time left over after doing the errands, so we went and sat at the park, and it just seemed very easy. Like, he was easy to talk to, he was very attractive, we were flirty, and we couldn't wait to hang out again in the evening. So while I was off exploring the nearby town Real del Monte with my friend, he had to drop his car off at the mechanic shop. It was making some kind of weird noise. So he was going to need to borrow his mom and dad's car on and off for the next few days. So once I was ready to hang out with Sebastian again, he had his mom's car and he needed to take me to his parents' house. Now, I was not a fan of this because I had just met Sebastian in person that day. I mean, we were hitting it off, but obviously, like, who knows if we were compatible, if there was anything serious going to come of it. So I didn't want to meet any of his family because, one, it's the first date, I didn't know him, and two, like, what happens when I decide I don't like you 5 minutes from now? You've already introduced me to your family. But, like, there was nothing much I could do about it because we were borrowing their cars. But luckily his mom wasn't even there when we went to the house. It was a little odd because he wanted me to just like sit and hang out at his mom's house for a bit, and I really wasn't understanding why, because we already had the car. His mom wasn't there, so it was a little weird, but I was thinking, okay, maybe we have to wait for her to come back from her appointment because he needs to tell her something or give her something, or she needs to give him something. I don't know. That wasn't the case. So I was a little upset, but again, I didn't think too much of it because of the car situation. So Sebastian and I keep hanging out. It's becoming a little evident that maybe we don't have anything in common, but again, I just got to know him, so maybe we'll find something later on that we have in common. At some point, he went from having his mom's car to his dad's truck, so he needed to pick up his dad from work. And of course, I happened to be with him at the very moment his dad needed his ride home from work. Again, I was not thrilled about meeting the dad because his dad, as well as his mom, didn't even know I existed. So just surprise, there's some gringa in your truck when you come out of the door from work. It's like, who are you? It was just kind of awkward, but again, I didn't think a whole lot about it because we had to share cars. Like, there wasn't much we could do to avoid it besides like leave me sitting at the park for a bit while he went to pick up his dad. However, as the time passed, and this is just over the span of maybe 4 days total, but as the time passed, it became more and more evident that we weren't just seeing his family because of the cars, but he was trying to like brag about the fact that he had a girlfriend even though we weren't officially dating, because he would try to make me go inside of his parents' house even after we already resolved the car situation. Like, once we picked his dad up from work, there was no need for me to like go inside the house. We can just drop his dad off and move on, but like he kept insisting on me going inside of the house and sitting down. And later on, we were walking through his parents' neighborhood, and I guess his sister lives nearby too, and his sister and her husband were in the car waiting for the daughter to come out of school. And as soon as we saw his sister and her husband, like that's when he started trying to hold my hand and put his arm around me to kind of like brag, like, hey, look, I have a girl with me today. And then later, same thing, his cousin and his girlfriend or wife showed up, and again, like trying to make it very obvious that we were together even though we weren't together. So it started like rubbing me the wrong way. So I said, I really don't want to meet your friends and your family. I really don't want to go to your parents' house. I don't know you. I don't know if anything is going to come of this. So like, please relax a little bit. But on the other hand, like I know when I already know I really like someone, I try to make things move quickly. So if he already knew he really liked me, like I kind of understand from his point of view, but I wasn't there. Also, as time went on, it became super evident that we were just not finding anything in common, and that not only did we not have anything in common, that we were just kind of boring together. Like, there was no natural flowing conversation anymore. We didn't have really anything to discuss, and usually if there's someone new and you're hitting it off, like, you can have very deep conversations. You are, like... and you really make an effort to ask lots of questions to get to know them, but we sat in silence quite often, to be honest. So over the course of these few days, while we're driving around, picking up his dad and going to his parents' house and going to find something to do, there's really not much to do in Pachuca. And I also took him to see my land nearby. It became very obvious that he does not know how to drive. Now, in Mexico, generally speaking, they drive kind of on the crazy side. But Sebastian was like, here's your average Mexican driver, and he's like, whoa, buddy, you're going to kill me. Like, I was honestly scared for my life. He was like weaving in and out of, not even traffic, because there was no traffic, but just like speeding along, weaving in and out of everyone just for the sake of doing it, not because anybody was going slowly. Even when I took him to see my land, he was on his cell phone, but not just like glancing quickly at the stoplight, but like flat out looking at it while he was driving and responding to the text messages while driving, not looking at the road at all. So every time I felt like he was driving dangerously, like obviously I said something. I'm like, hey, I'm in the car with you. If you don't respect yourself, that's one thing, but you're going to respect me. And if you're interested in me, like I would expect that you're trying to take good care of me. And it wasn't like, okay, I'm sorry, I realized I messed up. He said, calm down, you're exaggerating. You're not going to tell me to calm down. You're not going to tell me I'm exaggerating. You're literally putting my life in danger. And I even said, you're going to stop texting and you're going to stop driving like a crazy man, or you're going to stop this car and I'm going to get out and I'm going to walk back home, or I'm going to take the bus back home. And again, he's like, you're exaggerating, calm down. And at this point, like, I just couldn't stand this dude anymore. Like, how can you say you like someone and then literally not care about their life being in danger? Like, I'm not exaggerating at all. So the last time I saw Sebastian, I happened to have my luggage with me because I was switching accommodations. And again, he insisted on going to his parents' house. And so at this point, I just had enough with meeting the family, enough with driving like a crazy dude. And so as soon as we pulled up in front of his parents' house, I grabbed my stuff and I just marched down the sidewalk without looking back. I just couldn't with him anymore. So I went and sat in the park for a bit before I was able to go check into my other accommodation. And I don't remember if it was that evening or the next day. I texted him just to like clarify, like, I told you I'm not comfortable going to meet your family. I don't know if I like you. I know for sure I don't like you. So what was the point of you like pretending you have this girlfriend and trying to hold my hand in front of them? Now you look like the idiot because they're gonna be like, hey, where did that American girl go that you brought home? Weirdo. And I was explaining how like that was very disrespectful to be texting and driving with me in the car. You shouldn't be doing that when you're alone either. That was very unsafe, the way you drove in and out of other cars. And again, you're exaggerating. Calm down. So yeah, that was the end of Sebastian. That's his problem, that he has to face his entire family and explain why he would introduce someone that he just met. I don't understand. This Sebastian guy is definitely not representative of your average Mexican man, not at all. I usually have good experiences when I meet people. Again, they're not always dates. 90% of the time they're like friend dates, and they're really cool people to hang out, very respectful, very talkative, very willing to help me with any questions I might have about Mexico or moving to Mexico. I met Gabriel, which is helping me do some research with like what cell phone company, what internet company to use once I get there. I met Andres from Guatemala that is in Mexico doing his master's degree. He was a lot of fun. He gave me a hard time for being vegan, but I forced him to eat some vegan food and he liked it. I met Raciel. I think I mentioned him in a previous video. Also a musician, also a dancer, so we had a lot of fun. And then Sergio, my architect, is also a very good friend. And Jaime is also a musician. He is Mexican Honduran, and he's traveled all around, so we had that in common as well. So Sebastian is definitely like the exception to the norm. I hope you found the story a little entertaining. Thank you so much for watching. If you would like to follow me in my journey in moving from the US to Mexico, be sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell. And if you like the video, give it a like. Adios.